Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. So this was a first time watch for me. I've seen this on Tubi before, but the cover art they had on there, it just it just kind of like turned me off. Like the cover art they had on Tubi, like the cover art that they still have on there, it doesn't it doesn't look like a legit movie. It looks like some like cheapo movie with a bunch of no names. But then, I just like popped up on my recommended, and I looked it up, and I like watched the trailer. I'm like, oh my goodness, this has like all kinds of like actors that I know, and it's got like that famous Chris Rock scene. And I'm like, oh, that's that movie. Because I had seen that scene on YouTube before. That I think it's got like crazy views on YouTube. That's like a super famous scene. But yeah, I watched the trailer. It looked good. I realized there's all these actors that I recognize in it, and then I realized too that it was like it was the Wayans family was behind it because I'm like a fan of their stuff. They make like a lot of you know great like comedy movies and parodies. To be honest, I'm not as familiar with Keenan Ivory Wayans. I'm more familiar with like Marlon Wayans and Sean Wayans. But I mean, I know like I know like the whole Wayans family. Like I've at least seen them all in something. So I was like, okay, like you know, this movie looks pretty cool. Let me check it out. And just giving it to you straight, my honest opinion, I thought this movie was the bomb.com. Like I was very pleasantly surprised. So it's kind of it's like an action comedy. Um, the the action's kind of played in a silly way. There is some serious action, but yeah, it's mainly a comedy. And I thought the comedy was just phenomenal in this. It to me it like it was like a R-rated movie, but it kind of like the comedy was like lighthearted. It was just like fun, silly humor, but like it was done really well. Like there wasn't any like super raunchy stuff or like super stupid stuff. Like it was like silly, but it wasn't stupid, if that makes sense. Like it was just like my type of humor. It was just like lighthearted, and there was like so many funny instances and like so many memorable moments. I'm gonna get into that later, but yeah, I thought this movie was fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna get into a little plot summary, and then I'm gonna jump into all those funny moments and the rest of my review. So yeah, basically, just like the premise of this movie, like I said, it's like an action comedy, and it's like a parody of I can't speak. Oh my goodness! Like you think if I'm gonna do YouTube videos and I don't even edit them and all I do is talk, you think I would be more well spoken, but it's not working out for me. I don't know. I'm losing it over here. Okay, but anyways, this movie, it's an action comedy, and it's a parody of blaxploitation films from the 1970s. That is a hard word to say. That's too many syllables for me. I'm kind of a simpleton. I stick to one or two syllables, so that's pushing it. That's like 64 syllables in that word. So that's a stretch for me. So yeah, it's a parody, but I mean, if you all are familiar with like the Wayans family, I mean, they're famous for doing parody movies. Like Keenan Ivory Wayans, who was the main star in this and who also directed it. This was his directorial debut. Debut. Why can I not speak, man? I'm like mixing my L's and I'm having problems. This was his directorial debut. Um, I'm just gonna say stuff how it's spelled. This is his debut. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, yeah, this was his directorial debut. He also starred in it, but he directed the first Scary Movie. So I mean that's talk about like good parody movies. Like the first Scary Movie, oh my goodness, that's one of my all-time favorite parody movies. Like, I mean, when I was like younger, I liked the Scary Movie sequels a lot. Like I was really into Scary Movie 3. I would watch that on repeat. I've said this in like every video. Like I've said it like a trillion times. Yeah, basically, I really liked the sequels when I was a kid, but like now, like I like the last time I rewatched all of them, I didn't like the sequels that much, but like the first Scary Movie is a classic. That's one of my favorite parody movies of all time. Like that, come on, like that what's up scene. Like come on, dude. There's so many iconic so many iconic moments. But anyways, we're not talking about Scary Movie. One day we're gonna do the whole series. You know how we do it on the channel. Like if there's one movie, we gotta do them all eventually. But I'll do them out of order, and I won't get to them until like 6 months later. But that's my style. Thank you all for putting up with me, bearing with me. I like to point at the camera. What's going on? Anyways, let me get into this plot summary. So you got Jack Spade is the main. Actually, before we get into Jack Spade, so yeah, the like inciting incident is you got this younger guy, and he overdosed on gold chains. He had too many gold chains head to toe. He OD'd. I'm pretty sure a couple times they said like he OG'd. They're like, yeah, he OG'd. Maybe I heard that wrong, but I thought they said that, and I thought that was pretty funny. But anyways, you got this young gentleman. He overdosed on gold chains, and you know his family's distraught. His mom and his girlfriend, they're a mess. They're like, you know, this is a tragic situation. Like, what are we gonna do? And yeah, he worked for this guy, Mr. Big. Mr. Big's like the head honcho, like gold chain dealer and distributor in the town. And the guy who I'm gonna say OG'd, the guy who OG'd on gold chains, he worked for Mr. Big. You got these debt collectors coming in, harassing his mom and girlfriend, saying like he owes them $5,000. But anyways, you know, all while this is happening, Jack Spade, the main character played by Keenan Ivory Wayans, he comes through. He couldn't come home in time for the funeral because he's like a military man, but he comes home and he's all shaken up about his brother passing, and he finds out that his mom and sister are getting harassed by like Mr. Big's debt collectors. So he's like, you know what, Mr. Big's going down, all right? Not only is he harassing my family, he is like the gold chain distributor. He's part of the reason, like a big part of the reason why my brother passed away. So yeah, Jack Spade sets out to take down Mr. Big, and in order to do that, he teams up with this older hero named John Slade, and they form this group of guys, and they they try to take down Mr. Big. So that is the main plot, the main premise right there. So pretty simple setup, but yeah, it's a good time. I'm not saying simple in a bad way, but yeah, like, I mean, it's not like he's trying to get Mr. Big. I mean, that's the plot. Like, what do you want me to say, you know? Well, the subplot and the side character, and actually the foreshadowing. No, sometimes I do say that. I feel like a goofball when I try to get too intricate with it. It's like, yo, I talk about horror movies and comedies. Like, I can't get too deep into it. But anyways, it's not that deep. But anyways, getting into funny moments here. I'm just gonna like rifle through them. There's probably some that I missed that that people think are iconic, but I'm just gonna, I don't want this video to go all day. So, I got this 4K camera. It takes a long time to upload. All right, give me a break. So, anyways, Jack Spade's mom, she's kind of like a badass, and there's like this running joke throughout the movie where, Jack Spade, he's trying to be his own man, he's trying to protect himself, but his mom always like has to come in and protect him. He's like, "Mom, like what the heck? What are you doing?" So basically, there's this one instance where he's like in this diner and he's fighting off Mr. Big's goons, and then his like mom comes through to save the day, and they did this like funny sequence where once she starts like like actually fighting, they cut to like a obvious stunt double, and she's like a older black woman, and the stunt double is like a middle-aged white man with a mustache, and then like right after the fight it just cuts right back to her. I thought that was great. That was awesome. And then when Jack like initially finds out that his brother OD'd on gold chains, he's like, "Gold chains, no, not gold chains." his delivery was like so funny in that instance. "No, not gold chains. What do you no?" And then yeah, basically Isaac Hayes is in this movie. I mean, I feel like you all probably know who Isaac Hayes is. He's pretty famous. Like he was in a lot of 70s movies. He was Chef on South Park. He was in Escape from New York. He was in Return to Sleepaway Camp as well. That was like his last role ever. I know people hate that movie, but I mean I think that's a bad movie, but I still like it though. I don't know. I might be the only person, but yeah, Isaac Hayes is in this. He rocks. He's the homie. Basically, there's this sequence where he's arming himself, and he puts like it's like so drawn out. Like he's got like all these different holsters. He's got like a holster here, holster here. He'll put like a pistol in his sock, other sock. He's got a holster there. He straps himself up with probably like I don't know, 20 different guns, and it's just like so funny. Like he just puts a gun in the holster, puts another gun in the holster, puts a gun up his sleeve, puts a gun in his shirt. Like I love that sequence. I thought it was so funny. And there's this one like short little scene where Jack is like at the bar with John Slade, and John Slade's like, "Give me a double whiskey," and then Jack's like, "Yeah, give me a double Pepsi." That was just like a little just a quick like blink and you miss it line, but I don't know, for some reason I thought that was really funny. He's like, "Give me a double Pepsi," and then John Slade's like, "Dude, you're a hero. You can't be drinking double Pepsis. You gotta drink something a little stronger. Drink something cool. Drink a double whiskey. Like at least have a beer." And then he's like, "Dude, like what's up with you? Like you get no ladies. Like go holler at that woman over there." And that's a funny sequence, but I didn't write that down. That's another time. I mean, I'm only gonna do this video once, but I don't know. That wasn't like a standout moment for me, but I liked when he got the double Pepsi. Okay, yeah, okay, speaking of John Slade, there's this funny instance. So, this movie's making fun of those, like 70s, like blaxploitation movies, 70s action movies, and those movies, they all have like the theme music. They all have the hero music. So, John Slade's walking down the street, and he has like you have the hero music going on, and it's like very like 70s-esque, 70s centric, and yeah, you see like the whole band following him playing the music, and then they're like, everyone's like, what is that? He's like, you gotta have the hero music, man. So that was pretty good. Okay, the Chris Rock scene. You gotta talk about the Chris Rock scene. So, yeah, I had seen this before on YouTube. I didn't know what movie it was for, but I thought it was funny. Um, Basically, this is where we're introduced to Isaac Hayes, and like Chris Rock isn't even in the movie at all. He's just in this one quick little scene. But like Isaac Hayes, basically he owns this little like restaurant with this other gentleman, and like Chris Rock's character comes in. He's like, "Let me get some ribs," and they think he's talking about like one order of ribs. He's like, "No, how much for one rib? That's like he's like, I could probably get that for like 50 cents, right?" And then he's like, how much for one sip of pop? He's like, can I get that for 15 cents? And then Isaac Hayes' character is like, dude, my cups cost more than 15 cents. You can't get that. He's like, well, just pour it in my hand. And they keep like going through this whole back and forth. And then at the end, Chris Rock's character is just like, you got change for 100. He whips out just like a fat stack of cash. I thought that was like an extremely funny sequence. It was just like a super funny setup, and I thought like I don't know, like the whole punchline. He like pulls out this stack of hundreds. It was just, I wasn't expecting that. It was so funny. And that was like a young Chris Rock, dude. I feel like he was probably like in his 20s or something. It's like, man, he looked like a kid. I was like, what? Like baby Chris Rock. Let me see. Okay, so basically, Jack, he's like an army secretary. That's like a running joke, and he meets up with this like other gentleman with an eye patch, and he's supposed to be this total badass, and they kind of click because they were both army secretaries, and everyone thought this eye patch guy was such a badass, and they're like, I thought you got that eye patch from like a war injury. He's like, no, I got a paper clip in the eye. And they're like, what about all those badges? Because they both have like badges on their jackets, and they're like, oh yeah, this is my, I don't remember exactly what the badges were, but they're like, oh yeah, that was like my paperwork badge, that was my camping badge, that was my surfing badge. I know for sure they said surfing badge, so that was pretty darn funny. And it's kind of funny that he was like a, just like a secretary, and he's supposed to be like, he's like toting machine guns, he's got grenades, he's supposed to be this total badass, so that was pretty good. And then, I don't know, just the last thing I wrote down, so like Mr. Big's goons, they're like these like 2-bit thugs, and like whenever someone like is gonna dismiss them, they're like, so what will it be, window or stairs? And they just like push them down the stairs, excuse me, and they're just like tumbling down the stairs. I thought that was funny. It was like a recurring little gag, so that was cool. Yeah, but those are all the funny moments I wanted to mention. Now I'm gonna get into some, just random stuff. So, this is a parody film, and when I was like reading some information on the movie before doing the review, and it was saying, Keenan Ivory Wayans, he was a huge fan of the blaxploitation films when he was a kid, and the reason like he got the idea for the movie is because his friends would like watch him, and sometimes they would like make fun of certain aspects of him, and I thought that was cool, and I was just like thinking to myself, like I feel like people have like said this in a bunch of videos before, so I might sound like a broken record, but I think that's like essential if you're doing a parody film. Like it has to come from a sincere place. It has to come from a place of like love or fandom. Like you can't make there can't be like ill intention behind your parody. Like you kind of gotta know, like you kind of gotta love the thing you're parodying to like know all the tropes, and to know, you gotta know the genre. You gotta know, like, it's like how they say like write what you know, like parody what you know. You can't parody something that you're not a huge fan of. Like that's the thing with like there's like all these like horror parodies, these horror comedies where they're making fun of like slasher movie tropes, because there's so many tropes. Like the people who make those movies, they're not they're not making the movie to like rag on the genre. They love the genre, but like because they're like so like well versed in the genre, you know, like they know all the tropes and they know all the little like funny shortcomings of it that are like fun to poke fun at, but like still are like enjoyable to watch. So you could definitely tell like the movie was made from like a place of like love and sincerity. It was just like a real movie. It was like very fun and lighthearted, so that was cool. And then something else that I was kind of thinking is like, I feel like there was like a little bit of like social commentary. I could be wrong, but there was like a couple like serious instances where you know, basically like Jack Spade, he's talking about like, man, the gold chains are like ruining our community. People are like killing each other over it. And I was just thinking like, you know, that it's probably like, you know, it's supposed to be like social commentary because, you know, that is like a thing like even to this day where, you know, people are, you know, getting killed because of, you know, they're you know, because like of a chain or like some nice piece of jewelry or something. Like, you know, I live close to Detroit. I just live in the suburbs though, but like you would always hear on the news like people like there's these like really expensive like glass like sunglasses basically, and they're called like Cartier, and I think they're like $500 or $1,000. They're like really expensive, but you'd always hear on the news like even like the past couple years like people will get like killed over that. So it's like I feel like that was like, you know, pretty like relevant social commentary because that still goes on today where like, you know, people like desperate people will just like kill you over some you know, just like a nice piece of jewelry or like a nice car or something like that because like they don't have it. And you know, like if you're like maybe like in like a impoverished area and then you like come up on some money and you're kind of like, you know, dressing nice or you got like a nice new car or whatever, like people are just gonna like take it from you and like resort to violent measures. So like I feel like that was some pretty good social commentary. I mean, this came out in 1988. I feel like that's still, you know, relevant today, unfortunately. So yeah, like even though this was you know, like a silly, fun, lighthearted movie, there definitely was, you know, there's some substance going on. So that was cool. Um, this point I already talked about. I said it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I already talked about that. Yeah, I was just going over this one point that I wrote down. It was like how it's like it's rated R, but it's like more fun, lighthearted humor, and it's not too like raunchy or there's not too much gross out comedy. But I already talked about that. But yeah, that was nice. It was just kind of like a fun watch. It was like an easy movie to watch. It was just chill. Like I enjoyed myself. Keenan Ivory Wayans directed Scary Movie. I already talked about that. Okay, last point here. Gotta address this. So I could be wrong here, but from my understanding of watching the movie, maybe I like caught this wrong, but when I'm watching the movie, the girl who, you know, Jack's trying to have this kind of like romantic thing with, I'm pretty sure that was his brother's girlfriend, and you know, they had like good chemistry and they were kind of like a cute couple. They were both kind of like shy and they were like earlier on in the movie he was like, oh, I'm waiting for the right one, and they were kind of a cute couple. But here's the deal, okay? Like was if she was his brother's girlfriend, like isn't that kind of weird? Like am I crazy? Or if your brother passes away, like would you just immediately start dating his girlfriend? I feel like that would be a little bit nuts. Like I don't know. Like why would you date your brother's girlfriend? Why wouldn't you date someone else? Like that's I don't know. That seems crazy to me. But maybe I just couldn't maybe I wasn't paying attention to the movie. I mean, I was sipping a couple of drinks, but it was only like a couple. You know, I don't really think that would like hinder my like ability to pay attention. Like I was pretty awake, you know. So I don't know. This movie didn't bore me to death, so I was like glued to the screen. I was like, ooh, this is nice. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. What's up with that? What's up with, you know, like your brother dies and then the next day you're like getting with his girlfriend. I don't know. But they were a cute couple though, so I'll give them a pass. We're going to forget about that. We're going to forget that your brother just died of gold chain overdose. We're going to forget about all that because you all are a cute couple. You'd make a nice Christmas card or something like that. So we'll give you a pass. So just don't mention it. Don't bring up all that, you know, all that brother stuff where, you know, your brother was like literally dating your sister. I mean, not your brother was dating your sister. What am I talking about here? No, not incest. But your girlfriend was dating your brother like 2 days ago, and then he died. So we're not going to mention that. But anyways, that was the last point that I wanted to make. So, or point that I wanted to make, point that I wanted to go over. I cannot think, man. I don't know. Maybe I should get some more sleep. I got good sleep though. I don't know. I'm tripping. I don't know. Sometimes when you like flick the camera on, it's like, I don't know. What am I supposed to be on the whole time? Like just because the camera's on? I don't know. I don't know how to think real good. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, recommendation. Let's get into it. Would I recommend this movie? Yes. Solid comedy movie. You got some nice action elements, but mainly it's a comedy, and I think it delivers. I think it's super funny. Like, I mean, I went over like countless funny moments. There was so many more like funny, memorable moments. There's just so many like memorable moments in this movie, and it's just an easy watch. It's fun. It's funny. All the humor worked for me. You know, the story was serviceable. It was just like a good time. Like there was just like, it was just one of those movies where I just like put it on. I enjoyed myself. I relaxed. Like there was nothing wrong with it. There was no parts where I was like bored or where I was like, oh, well, that's like stupid. Like, oh, that's like toilet humor. That's dumb. It was like, oh, this is just like a fun, funny movie, and I'm, you know, having a good time. So I would definitely recommend this movie. Super solid. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's on Tubi for free. So yeah, that is my review. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.